everyone, it's Maddie. Welcome back to my channel. I hope you were all doing well. And today, as you probably can tell by the title of this video, I'm going to be doing a quick story time for you about my first Dexcom sensor failure. It actually was the sensor that I inserted on my arm that you had saw in my Dexcom G6 arm insertion video last week. And it wasn't because of the insertion, it was actually a manufacturer error is the reason why my sensor failed. So I'll give you a quick rundown of what happened. So I put the sensor on at about, I think it was like 11 o'clock in the morning or something like that, or 11:30. I changed it out, waited the 2 hours, and it was 1:30 and it started reading pretty fine. And then by when I went to eat dinner at 6 o'clock, it was really off. And I'm going, well, that's kind of odd. But then I thought, well, it's the first day of this sensor. So I would imagine it might be slightly off until you kind of calibrate it and get it going. So I decided to calibrate the sensor. So I go to calibrate the sensor. Fine and dandy. It was about 50 milligrams per deciliter higher than what I actually was. So then it kind of dropped it down and it went through, and then 10 minutes later I get this notification on my phone that says recalibrate at such and such time, which was like 7 o'clock at night or 6 o'clock at night. Recalibrate. Both my receiver and the phone that I'm filming on both had those alerts, so I'm kind of going, that's interesting. So I did whatever it said to recalibrate at 7:10, so I did it again, and lo and behold, it gave me the same message, and I'm going, this is odd. I put the code in correctly at the beginning. The needle went in because obviously if the needle didn't go in, it wouldn't be reading right from the get-go, or it wouldn't be picking up any readings, so I knew it wasn't the way I inserted it. So then I decided to turn to Google and kind of researched, and I pulled up some things from the G5. Well, I actually have the Dexcom G6, but it had said if this calibration error comes up more than 2 or 3 times, you need to call Dexcom tech support, and most likely your sensor is a failed or a poor sensor and it needs to be replaced. So I let it go through one more time. I actually did it 3 or 4 times, and I'm like, you know what, I'm sick and tired of wasting test strips. This is a waste of time. Obviously, there's something wrong with this, so then I called Dexcom tech support. I go through all the buttons, push this for G6, push this for tech support, push this to speak to a live person. So I did all that, waited probably on the hold music for about 15 minutes, and got a hold of a really good representative, told him my situation, gave him my transmitter number, gave him the time I inserted the Dexcom and what site I inserted it on. He ran all the information. 5 minutes later, he comes back on the line and says, yes, this is a problem sensor. We will be sending you a replacement one at your address. So lo and behold, I got a brand new sensor to replace it with. Came as a 1 little pack sensor, so it's kind of cute that they come in that little box. So then I went to go put the new one on my thigh, and it worked great. And then I had 1 or 2 times where it was giving me that calibration error again, and I'm going, what the heck? Not another failed sensor. This sensor I'm wearing right now, plus the sensor that had failed me, were from the same box. But the first sensor of that box of 3 was totally fine. But these other 2 were, the second one was a failed sensor, and this third one was a bit wonky at the beginning. But it took about 2 or 3 days after insertion to get it to kind of work. I kind of blame it that I am putting it on my thigh, and I think my body has to get used to it wearing on my thigh. And now that I've had it on, this is like the 6th day with this sensor. It's got about 4 more days left before I have to change it out. It has been reading spot on. So I think part of the reason for this third sensor kind of being a little goofy was because I did put it on a new body site, my thigh. I actually like wearing it on my thigh. It's just as comfortable for me as wearing it on my arm, but I will go back to my stomach again come January 6th when I have to change it out. But anyways, this is a basic story time of what kind of happened with my first G6 calibration error. So I want to put this out there for those of you that do have the G6 and have not experienced any sensor failures. Just so you know, you probably will experience one at some point in time. I did tell the representative I have not a problem with this happening. I have plenty of backups. I totally understand that something's happened in manufacturing, but make sure they stand behind their product and at least send you a free one out back. Because we pay enough for these as is with insurance or without insurance, depending on what you go through. Don't settle. Your health is extremely important. You need to get one of these back. So, I just wanted to point this out there for those of you that use the G6 and haven't experienced any of these yet, or you're new to the G6. Be prepared that there may or may not be some sensor failures. Mine was a calibration error, and there may be some too where the sensor just completely fails and doesn't have an explanation, like a calibration or a pore insertion error, but they might just totally fail on you and you gotta have to replace them. But moral of the story is, yes, failures are going to happen. This was my first one. And B, I wouldn't be surprised if another one happens again. You hope you don't, because it's rather annoying to keep flipping out sensors. I was actually more annoyed that I had to peel off my cool penguin tape and not be able to reuse that than I was about the sensor itself. I could care less about the sensor itself because I knew that they were going to have to stand behind their products. Even if I had to fight tooth and nail to get a new sensor back, I would. So anyways, this is my whole entire story time on my Dexcom calibration error failure. If you enjoyed this video, give it a big thumbs up. Feel free to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. We are at 60 subscribers, which is crazy to me. We are so close to hitting 100 subscribers. I'm so excited to post my diagnosis story for you guys. Thank you so much for supporting me. And I hope the first few days in the new year have been really blessed and peaceful and just fun for you guys and just all good things. So anyways, until tomorrow's video, take care, God bless, be kind, spread positivity, and be thankful. Bye, everyone.